you let me love you forever, forever? I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
Hello. Happy Monday. I keep thinking it's Tuesday. I don't know why, but welcome to TMW Online, the Melanated Way. I'm Linda. That's Abby. We are covering all things 90 Day Fiance the Other Way, Season 7, Episode 11, Kicking the Ant's Nest. Shout out to our live chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Raydella has a birthday coming up, and she's a day oneer, so we want to have early birthday wishes to Raydella.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha. Okay. Bon fête à toi. Bon fête à toi. Bon fête, dear Raydella. Bon fête à toi. Okay. What else do I want to discuss?
We're going to start doing 90 Day before the 90 days. Also, guys, new season just started.
So Monday and Fridays, lock in. 4 or 5, lock in Pacific Standard Time. Lock that in because we are definitely going to go full throttle on all things 90 Day Fiance. That being said, let's just jump in. What were your overall thoughts on Season 7, Episode 11, Kicking the Ant's Nest?
We have been led astray. We have been, you guys, we have been led astray on some of these people, and it's coming out in 2 specific people that have led us astray on what's really happening inside the house.
You know what? You're not wrong. What up, Judy? Hey, girl. Hey. You guys, Judy, I know personally. She is an amazing writer. Judy Lou Writes. Find her all across social media at Judy Lou Writes. And you know how we get into like short form movies and storytelling? She is incredible with all of that, and she's writing stories, and so you have to follow every week. And listen, if you're about relationships, life, all that stuff, you're gonna want to get on it on the ground level. That being said, let's jump into Dylan and Patia. Remembering that Dylan 38 and Patia's 58. How do I say that? Lacoste deal. Hey, girl. Hey. It's been a week. She's been in Tasmania. They're finally going to have a night out, date night, and they go to an Irish pub. And they're not just going by themselves. They're going to meet up with Dylan's best friend, Chris, and his brother, stepbrother. Do you differentiate? Like, do you have like half brothers and sisters or stepbrothers?
Well, I have an evil half sister, so I call her half sister. But if I felt differently about her, I would just call her a sister. But unfortunately, she's evil. So,
okay. I'm curious. If you have siblings that are not like 100% your siblings, they're step or they're half, do you call them sister, brother, or do you say, oh, that's my stepsister, that's my half brother? I'm curious because in African culture, that's just your sibling, right? But in real life, it's a whole other thing. And I'd get into my personal stuff, but I just don't feel like it right now. So they meet up with the bestie Chris and the stepbrother Glenn, and we find out that Patia hasn't seen the brother. I'm just going to say brother because that's just makes more sense to me, in 11 years, right? So she hasn't seen the mom in 11 years and she hasn't seen the brother in 11 years. And so this is kind of like, hey, it's a reunion, but it's not a reunion because like, I don't know what you've been doing for the last decade or so. So there's a little bit of small talk. One of the things I loved, Abby, was learning some of the slang words like bugger.
Oh, yeah.
So bugger. mean,
I actually had someone, I did one of those little Kentucky trips when I was in my late 20s. It was full of Australians. And I was trying to pretend to speak British, but I couldn't quite get the British accent. So the best I could do was bugger, which is much more Australian.
yeah.
But it was all the Australian kids on the. But you know what? I did pull it off good enough that when we were in the store one time, this guy came up behind me and asked me a question, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not British. I'm sorry."
What did you just do that you have all those sparkles in the back?
I have no idea. My nephew was telling me that there's like things you can do with your hand that cause something, but it just happens on accident for me. It doesn't happen on I know the thumbs up is one, but it never happens when I want it to, just only on accident. However, I did finally put my Christmas tree up.
Cute.
Yeah.
Happy holidays, Oslo. Hey, girl. Hey. So Bugger was one of them, and Tinnies, which is a great thing. So it's a can of beer or cans of beer. So you're gonna get your Tinnies. And Canadians, twofers. You guys will know what twofers are, and I just love all the slang. It's so good.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. So Chris, which is the best friend, asked Patia, how are you getting along with Joe, which is Dylan's mom, right? So he knows the backstory. He knows that they don't get along. And Patia kind of does a white lie. She's like, you know what? We got on well and everything's great. She's amazing. She's so kind, all the things. And he was shocked. He looks over at Dylan like, really? Like, when did this happen? Because everyone knows that you guys don't get along.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt like Chris was like trying to like create a little bit of drama, because the next thing he says, so first thing he's like, what's up with the mom? Second thing he says is, when are you going to put a ring on this finger? And that stirs Patia up, right? She's like, yeah, it's been 12 years. And, we've broken up so many times. And this is it. This has to be the last time. And instead, Dylan's like, we have issues to sort through first. And I was like, is he not like, what were your thoughts, Abby? Because I feel like he's still like dilly-dallying. Like it's been 12 years.
I do. I think, yeah, he doesn't want to. If he wanted to, he would.
That part.
I mean, that's simply what it is. I mean, he's thought to himself, I can have someone to do all the things that I want them to do and even move here to be with me without making any kind of commitment. Why not? Why not? But Chris definitely was being a mess maker.
100%. 100%. He's like, let me stir the pot. Let me get some drama.
Mm-hmm. And good on Patia for not falling for it. Sorry.
Shout out.
Ah!
Go, Abby. Say all the things.
say it. Shout out.
Say all the things. Go. You first.
I have to look at it because I was gonna say what you were gonna say. I was just being silly. Shout out to Silver Linings and Joslo and Ray Della. You guys weren't here earlier, so we have to sing happy birthday to Ray Della again. Happy birthday to ya. Okay, I'm done.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Okay. They want me to join the choir at church, and I keep saying no.
It is a time commitment.
It is. And it's not just that. No. We'll talk about it next year, maybe. That being said, so Chris is talking about the mom and the wedding and the engagement, all the things. And I thought Dylan got pissed off because he got up. He's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. So I was like, oh, he really did stir some stuff up. But instead, he still decides that he is going to jump on the mic. Going to sing a song that he wrote himself personally, because he's not the best communicator, and he feels like through his music he can explain to her how he really truly feels about her. And so he sings blah blah blah, plays the guitar. The line that I pulled out from his song was, quote, I promise to be more gentle with your heart. And I just felt like if that was true, I feel like you would stop talking about her to all of your friends, about all of her flaws and all of the things that you don't like. And instead, I feel like you would talk amazing about her and set her up for success in her new homeland. And I just don't
Hmm.
feel like getting that vibe from you. And so a song is a song. Great. You took time to write a song and you sang the song and all the things. But at the end of the day, that's not enough. At least as far as I'm concerned.
Right. I completely agree. He said that he doesn't communicate very well, but your actions are communicating for you.
Yeah.
So that the actions that you've had so far upon arrival are, and she didn't think it was a big deal, but I still think it's a big deal. Like you let her spend the night on the way there alone, you know, and then once she arrived, you immediately start trying to stir stuff up with about her spending habits. You know, now we've got your friend Chris coming in saying negative things. You immediately get on to her about what kind of couch she wants to pick out when you could have done that before she even got there if you really cared about it.
Right.
And so it doesn't feel like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad to have this person here and to be preparing to spend the rest of her life together.
Yeah. I have the exact same vibes, 100%. And the other thing that was concerning to me, Abby, was the best friend, Chris. He literally said he's unsure of their longevity. He's like, they have a passionate relationship, but it's tumultuous. And he's like, I don't see this lasting past 6 months, which has been their pattern, right? So he's not wrong for saying that because over the last 12 years, like Patia has said, they've broken up more times than not. So he's just following the history of behavior. And so I don't know. I'm a little concerned about this couple, to be honest.
Yeah.
Day
I'm more than a little concerned.
Yeah. So a day or so later, they're going to have a family dinner at Joe's house, which is Dylan's mom. So it's going to be Joe and Glenn, the brother, and Patia and Dylan. And one of the things that I thought was interesting and I wanted to discuss with the live chat, if you're watching the replay, I'm very much like this. Okay, so I grew up purely, strictly African house, and you just don't eat at everyone's homes. And even if you go to someone's home, it's very polite and all the things. But my mom would like elbow us or whisper to us or message us like, don't eat that, don't eat that, don't eat that. And to this day, like whenever we go to Africa, same thing. Like you can pretend to eat, but don't put any of that in your mouth because of this and that and this and that. Because really, you can't really eat at anyone's house, in my opinion, for a lot of different reasons. Patia's reason was her mom said, don't eat out of your enemy's hand. And I also want to add on to that. That's not sorry, but some of y'all are nasty. Like I see videos on Instagram and TikTok where a woman is cooking and her cats are like all over the place. One of them I just saw today where the cat like grabbed a piece of raw chicken in his mouth and she tugged the chicken out of his mouth and she literally just put it back on and chopped it up, put a little water on it, and then thought that she could just put some seasoning on it. And I was like disgusted. Then there are some people that wash their meat in the sink that you wash the dishes in and season in there and then pull it out. And then there, like, I cannot.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah.
Like, I just cannot. Like,
So I didn't grow up like that. I completely understand growing up like that. It makes sense. I didn't grow up like that. It was very normal for me. We lived in a cul-de-sac and everybody's dad, I was on an Air Force base. Everybody's dad's Air Force. Most of the moms are stay-at-home moms. And it was very normal for all of us as a pack of kids to move from one house to the next, eating at everybody's house. I had snacks that my mom bought and put at other people's houses because we were just always back and forth. I also ate a lot of really interesting foods because these are military men who very rarely marry American women. Um, so the moms on my street were from the Philippines, Vietnamese, Japanese. And so I got to eat lots of different food. A lot of them had gardens too, and they were growing different vegetables that we didn't have available in local grocery stores. So we ate all that stuff. I think growing up like that is the reason why I can eat street food now and not get sick. Like most people get sick if they eat like on the street in Mexico, Indonesia. I don't really have that problem. I think I have a Teflon stomach.
I love that. I love that for you. I'm gonna address some of the stuff in the live chat. Hey Ronnie, you guys, if you remember AfterBuzz, Ronnie was AfterBuzz host with me. We've become friends, all the things. So shout out to Ronnie. And then Frank is asking, would you get offended if people wouldn't want to eat your food? Listen, Frank, you don't know me clearly, but I'm an amazing cook and I'm very clean and people love my food. I have dinner parties often and people fight over my food. Like I literally had a girls' party and I had a bunch of my friends over and I did this like salted caramel brownie thing. And I'll never forget this to this day. It's literally started a fight and people stopped being friends over it. It went on Facebook and there were pictures and all the things. Someone tagged me. I looked and I was like, I can't get involved in this because it's a little too much drama for me. But to answer your question, Frank, I would not get offended. But you'd be missing out. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. I like to give people the option to try my food if they want to in a different place, or like I'm not watching them if they want to try it, and so they don't feel pressure to eat it. In my place where I live now, there's some people that I've met who live here, and I'll tell them I made X, Y, and Z. I have a lot left over if you want some, and then I'll just give it to them to take, so they don't have to eat it in front of me. I had a friend who used to always want us to try food that she made, but always in front of her, and immediately she'd be like, "Do you like it? How is it? How is it?" That was so intimidating to me. Like, it's not the way that I would like to experience food.
Yeah, I mean, do what you want. I won't get offended. Do what you want and it's all good. Silver Lining says Love Street Meat 2 April. And Caribbean, Mexico, South America, all good street meat and foods. Speaking of meats, they sit down for dinner, and Dylan has made kangaroo, which Patia didn't know it was kangaroo. She thought it tasted very like lean, like beef. If someone fed you something that you didn't know what it was, you loved it, and then you found out after, how would you feel about it, Abby?
Angry. I don't like when anybody makes a decision for me. I make all my own decisions. And so being deceitful, I don't like surprises. I don't want a surprise birthday party. I don't want surprise I'm in town and you didn't know I'm in town. So this just wouldn't work for me.
Yeah, I need to know what's going in my mouth. Let me make the decision myself as well. So one of the things I thought was interesting is that Joe, his mom, confronts Patia about their relationship because, you know, it's been tumultuous. And Patia's like, listen, Dylan told me that you had an issue that he was younger. You had an issue that you wanted to have grandbabies and I wouldn't be able to provide that. And there were a lot of things that he said that age was a big issue in this relationship. So yeah, I have an issue with you. And then Joe said, I never said any of that. I've never said that. I know that I never said that. And I've never had an issue with your age. And she looks over to Dylan and you could tell immediately, you guys could tell that he was lying. He's like,
exactly.
Did I say that? I don't remember saying that. And then goes on to say, well, if I did say that, I was probably mad at the time. And so, you know, no, that's evil. That's evil because you've created 11-year strife between your future wife and your mom, who you're close to, who you talk to every single day. And you never corrected it, knowing that you were lying, knowing that she never said that. That to me is like you want a little bit of drama and you don't want your mom and your future wife to be close. It's ridiculous. Right. Terrible.
He created it and he reveled in it. And I personally think he did it on purpose because he does not want to really be with her. He doesn't want to commit to her. So he wants to always have, there's an issue between us and this is the issue. Like, so he created that problem. And when this conversation first came up, I thought it was a bit messy, but I'm so glad they actually hashed out what the issue was. But I didn't like the fact that, at least from what we saw, Dylan didn't get to be reprimanded for his lie.
At all, and nor did he really get confronted, right? He just kind of backtracked and acted like he's not part of it. And the second issue, the mom was like, Dylan and I are really close and we talk all the time, and I know you have a problem with that. We've talked and I've said hello to you and you haven't said hello back. And Patia's like, well, it stems from the original issue where you said that you didn't want him to be with me because of my age and kids and all of that. And again, this is an opportunity for Dylan to fix it, and he just didn't say anything. And I just feel like that's really cowardly, and I feel like there's some manipulation going on there that I didn't appreciate.
Extremely cowardly, and it doesn't really bode well for the future. I would be so disappointed if I was sitting at dinner and my son basically is admitting to a big lie over a series of years that's caused a problem between me and somebody else. I would
Yep.
be so disappointed in my child. I would not sit there and let it get swept under the rug. I would say, you need to apologize. I don't care how old you are. You need to apologize right now. And I would tell that young lady, you're too good for him. Don't stay with someone who's willing to let you lie and then lay around like a pig in slop, letting you believe that lie.
100%. 100%. Do you want to add anything else before we move on to Manon
No.
and Anthony?
Let's go. Let's go to the second couple who's revealing things. Things are being revealed. Let's go, Manon and Anthony.
Thoughts on it? Because it looks like you have a lot of thoughts.
I have so many thoughts. I was a Manon fan in the beginning of this, and I understood the push and pull she was feeling with, like, I want to work versus I want to be a mom. And part of it being internal, part of it being external. I'm like, I see her. I see what's happening. But the things that she said to Anthony are so rude. I'll let you recap it.
It's very emasculating. So things are tense at the house, right? The family house, because of the drama that she had in previous episode with her sister. She called her sister. They're fine, quote unquote fine now, but they've been fine for a long time, but they haven't actually been close. So I feel like they're just like allowing things to settle, but they're not really in a great place. But she's not great with her parents. She feels like her parents attacked her character, and it literally wants her to leave the house. So she wants to get out as soon as possible, which is, you guys, when you're in your feelings and when you are hurt or angry, that's not the best time to make decisions, life decisions, period, full stop. And so that's the backstory to the next things I'm going to say, because I feel like she's in her feelings right now. So she wants to go to the house. So they're going to go house hunting. And they're going to La Providence Verte, which is a little outside of the city. They found a house for sale online, and it's about an hour away from where her parents live. And it has a pool, it has a view. She's only seen these things online, but she's already in love with it. But mind you, don't forget what I just told you the backstory is, right? Like, you're going to be in love with anywhere that you think is suitable if you want to get out of the place that you're currently staying. It's 375,000 euros, which is roughly 420,000 US dollars. And they think that they can afford it. It's a little bit on the higher range of their budget, but they feel like they can do it, even though they have no income, either of them, no French bank account, either of them. Anthony doesn't speak French, and so still needs to learn French. And I don't know, y'all. I don't know what time frame. Je ne sais pas. I don't know what time frame they think he's going to learn. I was going to say Spanish, French. I don't know, but it's not going to be a month or two. Even if you're immersed in it, I need to give him like a year to be on, and a year only because it's not like he's a tourist. If you're a tourist, you have to go out and you're like mingling, and you have to be in the city, and you have to work it out, and you got to find where you got to get to and all the things. So you're more interactive. But he has a wife that speaks fluent French, a family that speaks fluent French. There's no pressure on him to learn it immediately. At least that's how I look at it. But they're going to go buy a house. Now, his point of view is like, you know what? Maybe we don't need to jump into buying a house. Maybe we can rent for a little while, or, you know, maybe we can buy an apartment and not be so stretched with our money, which gives us a little bit more time to figure out what we're going to do. Or we can stay at your parents' longer because, like, we have a place to land. Manan freaks out. And when I say she freaks out, you guys, she's screaming. Soft tears. If you guys don't know what soft tears are, it's like you're crying, but there are no liquids coming out of your eyes. And she's like freaking out on him. She's like, I always do what you want. And she's sick of it. And she is not going to waste her money on renting. She's not going to live in an apartment because she just came from a house. So she wants a house and yada, 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 yada. But really, Abby, it all stems from she's hurt and angry about what her parents said about her in a previous episode. And she really wants to get out of the house. And that's, to me, where it stems from. So rather than dealing with the issues that you've had for your whole life, right? Because you fled them because you had those same issues. Now you want to flee again instead of actually addressing the issue, where y'all all need to get into family therapy and figure it out. I just don't think that that's the answer. What is your thoughts, Abby?
Same thing. When she said, I reacted viscerally to, we always do what you want to do, and I'm sick of it. We just watched you baptize a child that he didn't want to get baptized. So it's not always what Anthony wants to do. He said, I'm not really into this, but because you want it, I'm going to go stand beside you, right? And then the idea, like, she's presenting herself as a business person. She's the one who's smart and savvy, and she's the one who's been the breadwinner. But she wants to spend all of their savings on this deposit on this house, a down payment on the house, with zero plan of how to then make monthly payments. Because, like, mortgage works the same in France, right? You pay your deposit, you pay your down payment, and you have monthly payments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they have zero plan of how to make the monthly payments. And I'm really, really shocked that the realtor wasn't like, okay, you say you have some residual income coming in from your business. Is it going to be enough to cover your monthly bills and your monthly mortgage if you put all that you have saved into your down payment?
Right. Yeah.
He's going to be honest about the asbestos. Why didn't he say anything about that? What did you think about the house?
I mean, she was making it to be better than I thought it was. Like, I get it, because in Euro, a lot of the houses are older and have character, and you develop on that. And I totally love that. But she was making it seem like it was the end all be all, like it was so amazing. It was all right. I would want.
It wasn't quirky.
I would just want to, not even quirky. I just would want to see other options. That's your first option you saw. What else is out there? And what else can we afford? But I also know where she's coming from. She wants to get the F out of her house. I see it. And so I don't know if she's necessarily making the best decision. So they meet up with Chris, the realtor. They talk about whether you're going to speak in English or French. Since Anthony doesn't speak French, he's like, okay, we'll speak in English. Manon takes 2 steps into the house and she loves it from jump. And she's overly excited. And Anthony's like, what happened to playing it cool? Because, you know, maybe we can negotiate pricing and all of that. And she's like, oh, you know, this is how we should do it. You know, I'm the one. So this is the first dig that she gave at him that I was like, oh. She's like, you know, I'm the one that has networks and friends and makes things happen. I'm the businesswoman. You have no friends and no networks. So who should we be listening to? I was like, oh, wow.
That was rude. So rude.
You said that to your husband? Wow. So they walk around the house. There's a bunch of, like, I think there's like 3 showers, so maybe 3 washrooms, bathrooms, whatever you guys want to call it. And even like the main room with the twin beds, it looks, I don't know, it just looked like, oh, whatever. It wasn't everything that she was hyping it up to be, in my opinion. You guys let us know what you thought. It was fine, but for 420,000, I don't know, maybe stay at the house a little longer and keep looking. But no, she's like, we have 100,000 cash, and she asked the realtor Chris if they can get a loan, and she's like, we have good credit. I have no debts, all the things, and basically he says it's doable. It's doable because most people don't have a third down in cash that they can pay. But there's a but. The roof has asbestos. So the owner is willing to take 40 to 45,000 US off the price if you want to buy it. Now, here's the thing, you guys. I don't know. I'm sure there's a ton of realtors out there. I'm sure there's a ton of contractors out there. I grew up with a lot of contractors. And so what I'm going to tell you is, if they're saying that it's 40, let's just say 50,000. If they're saying it's $50,000 worth of damage in asbestos, it's 100,000. Because you know what? You're not factoring in the labor when they peel that roof off and they actually get to look, because they're only seeing with your roof on what they're seeing. When they peel all that stuff back, they're going to tell you, oh, it's worse than you thought. If it's $45,000 from just looking at it, it's 100,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought the same thing.
That shit is going to rot, and it is already expanded. And that's why you're getting, I don't know, like 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms for, less than 500K. That's why. Because she just wants to offload it. Because if it wasn't as bad as I think it is, you know what would have happened, Abby? She would have fixed it to raise the value when she's selling it.
Exactly.
She doesn't want to pour in, if she's selling it for 475, she's selling it for 375. She doesn't want to pour in another 100, because then she's 270. We're at 275 now, right? So she'll make the 375, but she's also lost 100. Do you see what I'm saying, you guys? It's worse than what she's saying.
Yeah.
Right? Fetzi's is like, who buys a house filled with asbestos? I don't know.
And I was also thinking that it's most likely not limited to the roof.
No, that's what I'm saying. Once they peel it back, it spreads. And we don't know how long that house has been sitting there, but it doesn't it's like a fungus.
Mm-hmm.
Funguses spread throughout the house.
Yeah,
Listen, someone's selling their house and they're like, oh, we'll knock off 50,000. It's because she knows that if she gets rid of it, she's not going to have anything else invested. And
right.
You're going to have to take on the responsibility. So no, but here we are. Anthony thinks that they can find something better, but Manon is in love with the house and she's excited and she wants to jump all in. And he talks about how he knows that she can make any house a home. But I also do think, if we go back to her true intentions, in my opinion, she just wants to get the hell out of her house because she's mad at her parents. Listen, you guys, anywhere you go, your problems are going to follow you unless you address them. So being an hour away from your family and your parents is not going to change the fact that you still have problems with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And to top it all off, then you're going to jump into a house that has major problems. Why? Go ahead and address your issues with your parents. Save some money. Find a job, because none of y'all are working. And Anthony's not going to be working for guaranteed a year. So,
yeah. They still haven't addressed whether or not Anthony even has a work permit, is another thing that I'm still thinking about. Like, when he does learn French, or even if he could get a job teaching English, like he said, where is he going to be allowed to work? France is pretty sticky about making sure you have a work permit. Number 2, they don't have Ben with them, which means that someone in the family probably is keeping him. So you're going to move an hour away from your support system. Number 3, the house has a pool. Pool maintenance is pretty expensive. So you're going to be away from your parents. with multiple elective bills on a house that has asbestos in the roof. It's
Yeah,
none of these decisions are smart.
make it make sense. Also, neither of you are working. So how are you buying a house with no income, no known time frame of when you're going to have an income? She talks about how she can work part-time and remote and still gets like some income from her business in California. But are you gonna wipe out your savings just for this house that you just don't even know? It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
I would see them getting into this house and then falling into the exact same pattern they were in before, where she's working all the time because she has to work to pay for that home. They've gone through all of their savings,
Yeah.
and she would continue to complain that she feels like she's not getting to know Ben and not spending time with Ben, but it would be a monster of her own creation. So now I'm kind of thinking you created that situation in Los Angeles as well.
Yep. So I'm worried that she's actually not really taking her own steps forward,
Right.
right? So he's okay with living with her parents because he feels like they're finally starting to get a balance and he's seeing some positive changes. She's getting to actually know her son and spending time with her son. But now he's seeing that she wants to step back to be the provider. And this is where you guys have got really nasty as far as I'm concerned. So she's talking about really wanting the house, and he's like, well, let's just take a step back, figure what our options are, maybe stay with your parents a little longer. And then she says, you're never going to make the money like I do. You don't speak French. Even if you get a job, what type of job are you going to get? He talks about maybe being a translator. She's like, oh, those are pennies. You're going to make pennies. You're never going to make as much as me. And went on and on to emasculate him. Like, you can never be the provider. You can never be, I'm going to always be the provider. I'm smarter than you. I'm stronger than you. I can build businesses. And all I see you as the baby daddy who is a stay-at-home dad. That is literally what she gave out, but really meanly. And he was like, her saying all this stuff makes me feel like I'm not good enough for her, which again is me saying that he feels emasculated. He hasn't even had the opportunity to step up, and you're already telling him what he can and cannot do, and that he's never going to be good enough. I thought that was terrible, Abby.
It's really terrible. It's terrible because you guys came up with this plan together that you're going to come to France and he's going to be the one to work. So I would be thinking, have you had in your mind the whole time that you think I can only work for pennies? Have you had in your mind the whole time that I really wouldn't be able to get a job? You don't have any faith in me? If Anthony is able to stick this out, if they're able to talk this out, more power to them. I feel like she made some comments that really went past the point of no return.
They were terrible. They were mean and like, that deep, like, someone has
Hmm.
insecurity or someone has some trauma in there and it, so you like dig deeper in. Not okay. Just not all of it was just definitely not okay.
Hmm.
Do you want to add anything else to this couple before we move on to Jenny and Submit?
That's it. We only have one more person who reveals herself.
You guys, I just don't understand why we are still here. It's been like, what? How long have we known Jenny and Submit? Like 10 years? I just don't understand. I don't understand what's happening now. I feel like we've reverted back to day one, and I'm just not happy with the two of them at all. Like, I'm just not happy. I'm not happy. Have we not learned anything in 10 years? It's the first day of business. Jenny's in charge of the coffee. The rest of the family is going to do the food. And, the previous episode, they gave away samples, but it was really full meals all day and all night long. They just gave out the food, made no money because they thought they were creating a buzz. Obviously, no one has any marketing experience. So there's that. Jenny's worried about making money because she's really only in the business because she wants to be able to move out of the house, the family house eventually, and have their own place again. So she's all about making money. First customer comes and he just wants a cappuccino. Now, y'all, coffee, some cream, foam that shit up, put a little swirl, you got a cappuccino. Jenny's not comfortable with the sheen, and I literally numbered all the issues. Just a cappuccino. Okay. First, she has to find the milk container. So why did you guys open if you guys weren't set up? I just business 101. Don't open the gates until you're all set up. I don't understand why you're open and you're still trying to set up and you have your first customer. Makes no sense to me. Second of all, where are your gloves and your friggin' nets and your, like, what is happening? I don't want your nasty hands. I don't care, you guys. You guys know how I am. I'm 10 toes deep or whatever you want to say. Put some gloves on. I just, no. Second,
Jenny's the kind of person that gloves wouldn't really help her. I'm going to be honest, because she was digging in her pants. She's digging in her mouth. Like, she would just do that with the gloves on. Gloves are not going to help her. She's just nasty and slothy.
okay, so that's the thing. Like her digging her, all the things, you guys. That wasn't even on my list, but I was like, maybe gloves will at least make me feel a little bit more comfortable. But no, the touching of the face, the hair, her behind, all the things is too much for me. Then she wants to grind the beans, but she doesn't know how to. And I'm like, you spent a whole day learning this machine and you don't know how to grind some beans. We find out from the potential customer that the grinder is not connected to any electricity. That's why it's not going to turn on. The customer says maybe plug it in. Then he's like, can you hurry it up? Because, I have somewhere else to be. I can't stand here all day for a friggin' cappuccino that I have to pay you for that you don't even know how to make. And you guys, listen, first impressions are big. He's going to tell all his friends. He looked university, college age. So he's going to go back to the university and college and say, oh, you know what happened here, here, and here. So all that food you gave away yesterday is going to make no difference because one bad, terrible review is going to be a problem for you. Next,
Right.
She gets an attitude with the customer and with Sumit and with the dad because the customer leaves. And she's like, I'm doing the best I can. And if you don't think I'm doing the best I can, then I can just go home. Well, Jenny, what is it that you do at the house? Because I'm still confused. You don't like to work out. You don't clean. You don't cook. Like, what is it that you're doing at the house? And I have to, Jenny, love you, girl, but I got to be honest. Friends are only honest. And I can tell you're not doing anything because it's aging you. When you sit around when you're retired and you don't actually do things, you age really quickly. And since the last time I've seen you, you've aged a lot. And I feel personally, because you're not doing anything. You're not being active. You're not exploring. You have all of India in front of you. You're not exploring it. You're not taking classes to learn the language. You're not going to like street markets and interacting with people and making new friends, all the stuff. So yeah, it's a problem, I think. Sumit tells her that she needs to do better. The dad is concerned because you spent a whole day learning this machine and why do you not know it? Cherie spent the whole day showing you how to use it and you didn't practice, which is what the dad said. I added to that. You could have taken notes, right? Take notes. I have notes even to this day. Take notes because when you're in the moment, it's so much coming into you that you might not remember it all. So you write it down and it sparks memory. Take note.
Mm-hmm.
That is college, university 101. Take some notes. The next thing is, I don't even really feel like she wants to do it. Like, I feel like she just is there to be there because it's a coffee machine. Abby, it's a coffee machine.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. She doesn't want to work. She just wants to move out of his parents' home. And honestly, having money is not really the gateway to getting out of their home. That's not a connection because Submit wants to stay there regardless of how things go with the family cafe. So she's
100%.
like, she's got in her head that if this is successful and we make money, then I can move out. That's not even what he wants. He told all of us, he told us, he told her that what he really wanted was to stay with his parents. He got it. He's done. He doesn't want to move out.
Facts.
She just wants money to fall from the tree.
Fazzi says, yes, she worked hard for 35 years, but becoming a secondary sloth is not the answer either.
How do you know she worked hard for 35 years? I know a lot of people who are government employees who sloth their way through that. My mom used to work beside a lady. Like my mom went to work. She went to college when I was in middle school and got her associate's degree. And then she went to work as a civilian on base. There was a lady who came to her job, covered her head up like with a jacket, and slept at her desk all day long. And if she overslept lunchtime, she'd be like, "Oh, I done stayed here too long. I got to go to lunch." Like government employees sloth their way through that sometimes too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. All I know is that this isn't it. This isn't it. I would never eat there. I would never even drink coffee there. No. No. Something has to change because this screams failure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be interested. As soon as she turned around and started digging in her butt, I mean, like, because the thing is, if people can't even bother to like try and hide the nasty things they're doing from you, they're doing like really, really nasty stuff that you can't see. Like
Facts.
she didn't even she turned around and scratched her ass in that man's face.
Facts. Last time, remember you guys last episode, the grinder lid fell on the ground. She just picked it up and put it right back on. The dad was getting toilet water to wash the potatoes. Like, I've seen enough. I've seen
Yeah,
enough.
I've seen enough. And I guess if you feel like it's okay to spit old cow urine on everything, I mean, what?
I can't.
Yeah. So it'll be the first time that I travel to. I'm going to India in February. It'll probably be the first time that I abstain from street food.
You gotta go find their cafe and go live, and we have to be there. Last and certainly not least, Johnny and Chloe. I just want to say that the food looks amazing. They could have just panned the food and I would have been happy. It looked amazing. They're out to dinner and with Chloe's mom, and her mom reminds everyone that Chloe's financially cut off. Chloe is freaking out, right? Because she has lived a privileged lifestyle all of her 23 years, and she thinks her mom is trying to get her to come back to Boston and is sabotaging, and that's why she's cutting her off, because she doesn't want her to be there. And so they sit down and the mom explains how the car shopping went terribly, the prices are too high. Johnny says, oh, he's surprised by that. Maybe you guys should ship Chloe's current car here. And the mom's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I don't think Chloe told you, but I'm not paying for anything else. I've already sank $20,000 into this. Chloe needs to have some responsibilities. She needs to have a plan. So she needs to work through this. And Johnny was not surprised. He's like, you know what? Chloe always has had a safety net. And a lot of these rich girls, you guys, they really don't have a sense of planning, finance, budgeting, because it's always just there. They have their safety net. So the parent is always going to take care, which is where we see this 23-year-old. And so he's like, yeah, maybe she needs a sense of reality, that the funds are not just flying off of the trees, pouring down from the sky. Just because Mama Bear has a successful business has always been shelling out, and your job is literally a 6-figure income at your mama's company that you live at home. So you're flush. You're not paying rent. You're not paying any type of bills. You're just buying all the things you want. You have the car you want. You have the luxuries you want. You're buying all the things that you want, all the things. But that's not real life because you're not paying real bills. You didn't purchase your car on your own and paying a monthly payment and the insurance. And 23 with a 6-figure income is really not realistic. You're not getting a 6-figure income out the jump from university normally. Right? So you're living in a bubble, and your mom has now burst the bubble. And Johnny's not mad at it because he's like, I want to see if she really wants this. And also going through strife and struggle financially is going to show me who she really is, because she's never had to experience that. And you guys, we all know as grown adults that there are ebbs and flows in life, and we all at some point struggle. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you are. It may not be financial, but there's something that you struggle with. That's just life. And it puts like a Teflon on you because you have to power through it, because life is going to continue on. So either you're going to allow it to consume you, or you're going to power through, and at some point it's going to be in the rearview mirror. Is it going to be easy? No, it's going to be difficult and try to break you 100%, but you get through it somehow, some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Chloe's mom says Chloe needs a sound plan. Because, like, what is happening? Like, how is she going to work? If we don't have the job and we don't have the car, how is she going to work? What does that work permit look like? And then Johnny says that for the first month, they have to pay out of pocket at $600. And then you have to pay $600 to $800 every 3 months to renew it. And the mom's like, where's that money going to come from? Where's it going to come from? And Chloe gets defensive, and she's like, or Chloe talks about partnership papers. Now, do you know anything about that, Abby? Because she said it's not the same as getting married and being sponsored.
I didn't. Yeah. I looked it up because I was like, oh, what is she talking about? They have like kind of like common law marriage kind of deal. But I didn't see anything like that. What I saw is that you can have a company sponsor you,
which is different.
Like if they're offering you employment, which is different. I didn't see anything. I even Googled exactly the words that she used. And then I separately Googled, I went onto Aruba's embassy and looked for how you, like the categories to apply for a work permit. And I didn't see that. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't exist. She might be right. There might be something that, like in plain English, it doesn't look like that to me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I didn't see anything like that.
Yeah, I've never heard it because, in the U.S., it's an H-1 visa, right?
The one for your employer petitioning for you? Yeah, that's one of them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, so your employer can bring you over in the U.S. and have an H-1 visa. Canada has a very similar thing where they'll sponsor you. The company will sponsor you, but you're tied to that specific company. So if you get fired and you don't have another job, you have to go back to wherever you moved from. But if you find another job, both here in Canada and the US, you can go to the next job, but you start all over and they sponsor you. But I've never heard of a partnership papers where you're not married and the company that you work for is not sponsoring you. All of a sudden you're part, like I've just never heard.
And whatever she's talking,
go ahead.
And whatever she's talking about, I also didn't see when mom said, why couldn't you have started that process before you left or something like that? Like, I also didn't see anything like that. Everything that I read is something that you could start before you get to Aruba. So I don't know what she was referring to.
I agree with you. I think that was her just being defensive because she didn't do the research. Mm-hmm. That's what I think. Because any paperwork when you're moving abroad and immigrating or even emigrating somewhere, you can start it before you leave.
Right.
Because you know exactly where you stand, and when you land, you're not scrambling around. So for her to say that made no sense to me, but I mean, I could be wrong. And again, you guys in the live chat, or if you're watching the replay, if you guys have some information that I'm not aware of, please let me know. But we have an
Yeah.
immigrant attorney right here in front of us, and she's saying that she hasn't heard of these things either. So I don't know.
Yeah. While we're talking about immigration, you guys, little, if you're moving to another country, don't get a new passport, or go ahead and get your new passport before you even start the process. Because I made the hugest mistake. It caused such a problem in my life. I applied for my work visa in Mexico, and then I realized it was going to expire. So I got a new one. So between the time that I applied and when I went to my interview, I had a new passport number. I didn't even know that passport numbers change. So when I go to my interview, they were like, we can't issue your work permit because you don't even have the same passport that your application was under.
Mm.
Ah, and I'm smart. And I still made this horrible mistake because I'd never heard anybody even talk about it. So don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys do your research. Do your research on the country that you're moving to or moving from, and make sure you know all the steps so that you set yourself up for success. Because leaving your country, not only the immigration component, there's the finance component, there's the tax component, there's the living component. There's so many things that make up the whole package. It's not like you could just pick up and leave and, think that you're going to land softly. There's a lot that goes into it. So just remember that. I think Chloe's tripping. I think she's being defensive because she is starting to realize that she's going to have to grow up. Her mama's not going to pay for everything for the rest of her life, and she's going to have to get a job. She's going to have to make money and income, and she's used to a certain level of living, and that's not going to happen. So she's getting defensive. But then here's the kicker, you guys, the end all be all kicker of the night. Chloe's mom says, you're cut off. I'm not putting one more dime into Aruba, into your relationship, into any of this. However, Abby, if you, Chloe, and you, Johnny, move back to Boston, I will personally support the both of you. What are your thoughts on that before I have a TED Talk?
I would have never offered that. And let me tell you why, from a parenting perspective. Sometimes you have to let your kids fail. Okay. I think this is a situation where Chloe can very safely fail because I can always, okay, you're ready to come back. I'll send a ticket for you to come back. But once you've decided to sit through a dinner and talk to me like trash, like I'm not a person, I'm very, very big with my own child on letting them know I have feelings and you can hurt my feelings too. So whenever we're having a conversation, we're going to be respectful of each other's feelings. I'm a person too. I want to be loved and I want to be cared for and I want to be talked to a certain way. And I will also talk to you that way with respect and with love, right? She sat there being contrary and rude the entire dinner from what we saw. So I'm not going to wrap that up by saying, and here's a gift that I will give to you. And here's how I will save you if you decide to come to Boston. I'm going to say, all right, well, it was a great visit. Good luck to you. I hope you figure it all out. And let her fall. Go ahead, Linda.
I'm going to try to. Absolutely not. Absolutely. I think this is a manipulation. I think that she showed her cards. She clearly does not want her daughter to live there, and not even give her the opportunity to figure it out, to fall on her butt and learn some life skills. She wants her daughter back in Boston, under her control, and to throw it out there to a grown 32-year-old man like, hey, can move to Boston, I'll pay all your bills, is emasculating. He's a man. He's been a man his whole life. He has his own home. He has taken care of his mom who passed away. He's made a way in the hospitality industry to continue on. And now you're saying to this dude, hey, listen, none of that matters. I got you. I'll pay all your bills if you not even come back to Boston. If you move to Boston, leave your entire life and I'll pay for everything. First of all, how long does that last? Do y'all live in the same house? Do they get to buy a house and you're going to pay for the house? Are you buying him a car? Is he supposed to work or not work? Is he working at your business? And for how long? 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, for the rest of their lives? What is that supposed to look like? Because to just think that you can throw money at a problem, honestly, is the problem in the United States of America. Period. Full stop. I'm not going to get political, but money does not solve every single issue. You just can't throw money at something and think, hey, all is better. No, you got to address the issues. You have to have specific terms and conditions and time frames and rules and regulations. I can go on and on and on, but this isn't it. You're telling a grown man, hey, I'll pay everything for you. Just leave your entire life, because none of that really matters because I have more money than you.
Yeah, I actually didn't even think of how he would receive it. I was just thinking parent wise, I think that's not a good choice to make, but I completely agree.
Abby, and I'm not talking dating. I'm not talking dating because that's a whole separate thing, but no, just no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Let me know what you guys think in the replay. We will be back on Friday. We're starting before the 90 days. So jump in on that, you guys. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And we love you guys. And we'll see you at the end of the week. Oh my God.
It worked.
Yeah.
Oh!
There's nothing happening over here. So ditto to what Abby just did. Bye, guys.
Bye.